DJI Possible 2023 releases. Got that coming up next. Bill the Drone Reviewer here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night I hosted Rotor Talk Live and was joined by Mr. Marcus Crawford, Mr. Ron Braun, and Mr. Johnny Alfonso. We spent the better part of the evening discussing DJI and what they could possibly be coming out with in 2023. So without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. Our friend Deals Drone put out a guesswork for 2023.
I've seen that little schedule,
yeah, we're going to spend a few minutes on this right here.
Remember, our friend Lev did it for 2022, and he got more right than he got wrong.
He sure did. Now, according to this, okay, we already saw the DJI RS3 Mini.
And he already got the first one right.
And then for February, DJI Goggles SE, DJI RC Motion.
And we already know they got their FCC approvals already, Bill.
Approval for those, yeah. Now, DJI Inspire 3 plus Z9, that is in for March. For April, the DJI Pocket 3. For May, DJI Air 3.
Wow.
For June, looks like a Matrice 350T and a DJI Dock SE. And I imagine that would probably be for the Matrice. That's just a guess. And then July, DJI Mavic 3S.
Wow.
And then in October, a DJI OM7. That's pretty ambitious, even for DJI guys.
Well, I mean, last year was a big year for release of products. You know, I mean, maybe not necessarily drones, but overall they released
older products,
drones,
yeah.
Other products too. It was a big year for them.
Well,
Between enterprise
here,
and FPV.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of these, or 5 of these, are not drones.
Yeah.
On here. So you know, it's just, you know, you're looking at now. What didn't surprise me was seeing a DJI Air 3 here. Okay.
I think that's the one thing unless most of our viewers are looking forward to.
Yeah. The DJI Inspire 3 again, you know, that's you know, we're not even prosumer here. That is professional, and it's going to have a professional price on it too.
Yes.
You know,
and rumors are it's going to be full frame.
Well, yeah, if it's full frame, you're probably looking at 20,000. I mean, I'll just come right out and say that's just a guesstimate on my part, but still,
we'll need to pool our money together for that one.
Now, DJI Mavic 3S, okay, that really intrigued me when I saw that, because I'm like, okay, what can they add to the Mavic 3? Okay, they have the Classic, they have the regular Mavic 3, they have the Mavic 3 Enterprise Edition, but the Mavic 3S. I mean, I'm at a loss on this, guys. I really am. I don't know what else they can add to it.
Well, I mean, when the Air 2S came out over the Air 2, it had a bigger camera sensor, but I don't know how they're going to top the 4/3 on the current Mavic 3 unless they go full frame or something.
You know, the only thing I could think of, something like maybe they're going to a hot swappable battery on that. That may be possible.
Like the Autel.
Like the Autel, that may be a possibility. But as far as the camera, and you made a good point, Ron, there's not enough, you know, if you keep the same airframe, there's not enough room, you know, to put in a bigger camera. There really isn't.
I mean, what they could do, they could just tune the current camera up with maybe some better frame rates, maybe even more resolution. Maybe they can, I'm spitballing here, 8K it or whatever, or, you know, up the resolution, up the frame rates at different, areas. I'll get
different. Somebody's saying different transmission, maybe, you know.
OM 5, 05 or 04 or
04, yeah.
I've got one for you.
Okay.
So we're continually seeing autonomy getting improved and obstacle avoidance get approved, and the Mavic 3 is so close to the Skydio and its obstacle avoidance ability. What if they take another leap in that and improve that again to where it's has more autonomous capabilities?
Yeah.
That's yeah. And
Or Bill, maybe even do some improvements to the zoom lens.
that's true. And also while we're at it on third iterations of drones, the Air 3, let's see how can you improve upon the Air 2S, okay? And you're probably going to have, I mean, and of course we're just spitballing. This is just pure speculation on our part, but you're probably going to have a little bit of a bigger airframe, I would think, in order to handle a bigger camera on that.
Here's a problem with that. So Johnny and I had that discussion this very afternoon.
Okay.
One of the big advantages to me of the Air 2S, when I'm traveling, it's how compact it is. It's that small little compact case. It's nearly as powerful as your Mavic 3. So I'll take that over a mini drone any day of the week because of the power and the better video quality, the better obstacle avoidance, everything it brings to the table. So to your point, and Ron and I have discussed this, maybe I'll let Ron make the point, but I think we're talking about the battery, right, Ron?
Yeah, and I'm gonna just pick up right where you left off the thing. If you make the Air 3, if the Air 3 as big as the say the Autel Lite Plus, then it's not much smaller than the Mavic 3, Bill.
Mavic 3, yeah.
You might as well get the Mavic 3 if size is concerned. But what Marcus is going on, the big miss on the Air 2S now, Bill, is the battery life.
This is the Lite Plus case. I mean, this is big. Let me get the Air 2S case, and we'll put them side.
You can probably put the Mavic 3 in that case.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. I mean, the problem with the Air 2S, it has much shorter battery life than either the Mini 3 Pro or either the Mavic 3 or Mavic 3 Classic. So that battery life is just not up to 2022/223 standards at this point, Bill.
Well, Brad brings it up right here. 04 transmission, longer battery than Mavic 3 due to lightweight, 24 megapixel 1-inch camera. Those are sound like some good specs.
Yeah.
And I think, the big thing on this, and you guys have talked about it, is battery life. And you just mentioned this, okay? Because, everything else, like even the Mini 3, the battery on the Mini 3 is better than on the Air 2S.
Yeah. It's better than anything. It's better than Mavic 3.
Yeah.
Extended battery.
So Johnny and I were talking about this just a little while ago too. Like when I'm traveling, so you get about 18 to 20 minutes out of a battery out of the Air 2S. Typically when I'm traveling someplace, I'm getting a quick video here. You know what? That's plenty of time in the air for me. And I've got 3 batteries. So that with the Air 2S isn't such a big deal to me. Although it's a great point. It is to a lot of people.
Richard putting out in the chat, a variable aperture can be something they could do without increasing the size of the drone.
Yeah, that's one of the most I think people would appreciate.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you this because I was like over the holidays with the prices dropping down on the Air 2S. I was like, thinking about pulling that trigger again because I had it before, and I'm like, because what I'm doing is I'm looking for a drone that I could use on my ham radio channel, okay? And not just for photography, videography, but one that can fit a release mechanism. And I know the Air 2S can do that and do it well. And I've seen it demonstrated, and I've talked to other ham guys that have done this, and they say, yes, that is a great drone to do something like that. And basically what you're doing is you're dropping the antenna in a tree with a carabiner on the other end, pull it down, and you have your antennas all set to go. With a drop and release mechanism. But, with rumblings of an Air 3, I'm just going to kind of like take it back.
Yeah. Of course, Bill, you know what that means, though. You get the Air 3, then it'll be another 6 months to a year before they get the release mechanism out for the newer model.
Yeah. So, I'm like,
here's what you do if you're Johnny. You'll buy the Air 2S, Bill, and 2 weeks later they'll release the Air 3.
Yeah. I think Ron Brown made commission off of me on that one. I think he said, buy that Air 2, buy that Air. And then like a week later, but no, hey, but you know what? What I think when they released that Air 2S available for the RC, it made you like you had a new drone because a lot of us had the Mini 3 Pro. We were flying it, and then when you got to fly that Air 2S with that RC controller, man, it's like you got a new drone. So it gave the Air 2S a lot of life. So it's a great drone.
Yeah,
second
and
one.
Try
even
flying it with the
still,
RC Pro, Mr. Johnny.
you know,
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey,
even
Marcus,
still,
I'm gonna send you my address and send me that RC Pro to test.
with that, well, with the Air 2S, it's still, you know, if I could get a good deal on it, I might just do that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, again, you know, for the purpose, you know, obviously I still want to take video with it. I still want to shoot pictures with it and everything, but the main purpose is to be able to use it for the ham radio channel, plus, you know, compatibility with the RC Pro as well, too. I mean, I can't lose, okay, as far as that's concerned.
Yeah.
You know, as
That
far as,
camera on that thing is just phenomenal. I mean, you know, we're Johnny and I were talking about this a little bit earlier too. It's just incremental differences in these cameras now. You know, the Mavic 3, yes, top of the heap. But, you know, the average person, are they going to be able to see the difference between the Air 2S and the Mavic 3? Maybe you're going to have to look awful close, though.
Yeah, I mean, the Hasselblad color science on the Mavic 3 is definitely a nicer look to it or whatever. But as far as seeing more resolution or detail, it would be hard to pick that out unless you're watching on your 80-inch TV screen.
That Light Plus, that Autel Light Plus, and Johnny will this. I mean, if I was putting that side by side with the Mavic 3, I don't know if I could tell the difference. It looks really good.
now Brad just put up here a Mini 4 release in November. Interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's probably, you know, there of all those drones on the sheet there, if a Mini 4 was on there, it may probably be their biggest seller in units or whatever, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
If you're talking about mini drones, here's the thing that I think DJI needs to stay on top of and not neglect.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, Ron knows exactly where I'm going, and that is a replacement for the Mini SE. It just brings so many people into the hobby, and it's something that I'm so happy to recommend to somebody that doesn't want to spend a lot of money, because you know they're going to have a good experience with it.
Right. I agree. They've, you know, they've kind of took control of that low end of the market, that $299 price point, and it'd be a shame to have them recede that back to the quasi toy drone makers again.
So this guy, he's been posting this a few times. So yeah, you do, even if you're a recreational drone pilot, you do have to comply with remote ID. My recommendation is go to the FAA's website, the drone zone on the FAA's website. You'll need to take a trust test. I recommend that you put, if you have a bigger than sub 250 drone, you've got to put a sticker on it. So you got to pay your $5 to the FFA or FAA. And they'll give you a number, and you got to put that sticker on all your drones. So yes, recreational pilots have to comply with all the rules that we do as commercial pilots.
Yeah, that $5 will cover all your drones, but if you're 107, you got to spend $5 per drone.
Right.
To do
Right.
that.
And remote ID covers everybody, commercial, recreational, everybody.
Nobody gets, you know, everybody's got to pay taxes.
And the FFA will take your donation probably.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, getting back to this idea of like a Mini 4 SE or, you know, Mini 3 SE or something like that, that is really good because, you know, when you have a price leader like that, okay, that's going to pop right out. It's going to grab people's attention right away. And people say, you know, I heard of that Mini 3, and Mini 3 is a really good drone. You know, even though it's a watered down version, doesn't have, say, obstacle avoidance or the runtime, okay, it's probably going to have a decent camera with it. And, you know, they may bundle it. You may be able to get a deal with it with a DJI, with, you know, just a standard RC, you know, at a good deal, like maybe $399, $499, that kind of thing. And I think that thing would fly off the shelves, literally.
Bill, to your point, I think it needs to be right around that $350, $400 price point. If it's any more than that, that's, you know, then people will still gravitate to the toy drones.
Yeah, $499 is way too high, Bill. You could right now you could go on Amazon and get a refurb Mini 3 standard for $499. I mean, I'm talking the complete kit, the drone, battery controller. So we're talking the keep people from buying those toy drones that basically their type of drone that you may never fly a drone again when you get them. You need to be somewhere around that $300 ballpark. I mean, I know there's inflation. Maybe it's $350 is the goalpost now, but it can't be $499 or $450.
Right. You can't go over $400. You have to be under that number, because you brought up a good point, Ron. You know, there's so many of those, toy drones that are out there on Amazon. You know, it's just, my timeline gets clogged with all that all the time.
And if you stop and look at the features, if you just read the feature list, they sound like they're better drones than the DJI mini series or whatever. If you go down that spec sheet,
they fly 10 miles and 10 miles and fly 60 minutes. Yeah, they sound really interesting on Facebook.
It's got 8K video and takes super duper high res photos, and you think you're getting a cinema camera, when you pay.
Sounds like an exo drone kind of.
Hey, before we lose it here, we need to thank Bob Casey for helping out Tar Heel Aerials there. He got him straightened out on remote ID. Evidently, Tar Heel Aerials has an Air 2S, and Bob let him know that does have remote ID built into it, which it does.
You don't have to do anything. Yeah,
you have to buy the module. Okay,
it's already there. This is a really good discussion to have, and I'd like to revisit this near the end of the year. I'm going to save this list to see if Beal's drone was right. When we hit November, December this year, how accurate this was and where he's at and what he missed. I'll say this, okay? What I will say, probably with about maybe 75% accuracy, the non-drone products, I think you'll probably see those this year. Okay. Everything
he already got the first one right, of course.
Yeah.
Got the first one right.
But we all knew that because DJI released a teaser last week, so don't give him too much credit on that one.
We know the Pocket 3 is going to come sometime. We know there'll be an OM7. I mean, that's a given.
They're like clockwork.
And, the DJI Goggles SE and the RC Motion, that's already on the FCC database. Yeah. That's already there.
It's coming, it's just a matter of when.
Yeah, it's just a matter of when. Now,
hey, Bill, before we got to go here, let me ask you this question. Of everything on his list, though, what product on that list excites you the most?
Let me bring that back up here.
Or I asked the whole panel, but we'll let Bill go first. What on that list excites you the most?
What excites me the most is probably the Air 3.
Yeah.
Because I want to see how they're going to keep it. And I agree with you guys. Keep the same airframe. Maybe an inch or two. Not much more than that.
It can have a different look to it. It just can't balloon in size.
Right. It can't balloon in size. I agree. I'm anxious to see how they're going to get, for instance, a better battery in there and a better camera in there and obstacle avoidance in there and their new an 04 in there. That excites me. That really excites me because I think that's kind of like, I'll say, it's kind of like an in-between. It's in between the Mini and in between the Mavic 3. Okay. It's right there. And it's if it's under $1,000, it's a home run. Okay.
Oh boy.
And I think, and I'll come out and I'll say this, okay, just the base unit with like a standard remote, it has to be under $1,000, okay? Because if you go over $1,000, all right, well, it would probably have the DJI RC with it, okay? Not the N1, R1, or whatever the standard controller is.
RCN1,
RCN1, whatever. So
all these acronyms, all these numbers,
Okay, so Marcus, what are your thoughts? Okay,
hey,
Ron started the ball rolling.
So pretty similar. I'm curious what a Mavic 3S is. It depends on the features, right? I'm worse than Johnny Drone Buyer when they come out with something new and exciting, and if there's a feature. There's always going to be a feature we didn't know we needed till DJI puts it on a drone, and we'll get all excited about it. So the fact remains, I'd probably end up buying both of those drones if they're, So that's kind of me. And my third place would be the Pocket 3, and Ron and I have talked about that. That's kind of a use case thing just for vlogging. So Ron Brown.
The Air 3, obviously. I mean, I'm fine with my Mavic 3. I don't need a slightly better Mavic 3, but the Air 3 really does, and the Pocket 2 somewhat. But again, we spoke about this. It had rumors of one sensor, but also rumors of it getting much bigger in size. I don't need a twice the size Pocket 3 with a one, if that's what it takes to get the 1-inch sensor in there. But I'm also interested to see what the goggles and the motion controller. There's rumors that maybe these devices will work with our camera drones. So that'll be interesting too. But it goes to it's definitely the Air 3. You know, that drone's the Air 2S is 2 years. It'll be 2 years old at that point in May, and it's a lot of room to upgrade. So, Johnny, what about you?
Well, I'm kind of like you, Ron. I would be interested maybe in those goggles just to see, you know, how they would work. And then somebody wrote it in the chat, and I kind of agree. I think there might be some kind of different Avata type drone, another version of that coming out, you know. But of those drones, the best thing on that list is the 4 months that they're not releasing a product. That's what I got to say.
You put your wallet away.
yeah. But no, and of course the Air 3 would be pretty interesting to see where that would fit in that lineup, and like what difference would it be? And because these you know, they're getting so much, they're so close to each other now, so you got to pick and choose what's right for you, you know.
Johnny brought up a good point. Those 4 months where there's no product's going to be released. That's going to be Valerie's going to be like, God.
Well, remember, Brad Henderson already put a Mini 4 in for November. So
for November.
Sorry, Johnny.
It's like every quarter you got to buy something, you know.
Want to welcome in the chat tonight, and I saw in there Bill Thomas was here. Welcome, Bill. And Original Dobos popped his head in. Ken, good seeing you tonight. Hope things are well with you. You had a good time.
Mr. Chris Hoop's out there too.
Good. Yeah, we have a lot. Lauren was here tonight.
Lauren's still here.
Yeah.
Lauren says these Fire 3s is what excites him.
Yeah, and it excites me as well too, but except for the price.
Well, Lauren, pick 2 up, and I'll get the other one.
Yeah, well, that's because Lauren gets to fly it. You know, that's why he's excited. Yeah,
I'll tell you what. I'll get up there to Canada and I'll go fly it with Lauren. How about that?
Yeah, that's why he's excited. Yeah.
Question of the day: what did you think of DJI 2023 possible releases? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.